NRG, the clear favorite on the desk. G2 had a tough time in the Swiss yesterday, and Subi, the confidence in not just the audience, but the desk and NRG is, well, as far as I see it, well-deserved with how they've been playing.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. They have only trended upwards since the North American Championship, and with good reason. They have three of the best players in North America, and they are a Swiss Army knife of a team. All three players can take one another's role just at a moment's notice, and just like that, Jorby, a marquee matchup of G2 and NRG underway.
Oh, it's a classic, isn't it? These guys have met up so many times, and every time they play against each other, everyone on the desk said it's going to be close. Despite them going all NRG, you know they're going to give you a quality matchup. Garrett going to take this one first. Actually, Chicago steals it from him. Drees. He had been probably one of the most talked about players of the offseason with, were G2 going to keep him? Were they going to make a change? He was just a stand-in, but he played well enough to earn his spot on this roster, and it's still a proving season for him. JNAP sends that up against the crossbar, and G2 still on the attack.
Well, and what a shot and save from Squishy, but Chicago with the cleanup and going to put the first goal on the board for G2.
Yep, nice little pop from Drees. Garrett had to come real far to get to that challenge, and he never lost it. Chicago's shot just made it real awkward to try to get a solid save. Chicago put it in the perfect spot. 1-0 G2.
And going back to Drees there, Jorby, I mean, the amount of pressure put on his shoulders had to be the most that we've seen in terms of a rookie coming in and replacing someone. In recent memory, I can't remember a player other than Justin that was talked about like Drees, just because of who he was replacing and what team he was on. But I've got to say, he stepped up to the plate, and he has proven that he is well-deserved of that roster spot.
We'll see how he does during the fall split, because there's a LAN on the table. G2 would love to qualify with Drees. Chicago puts this one up. JNAPS has to wait. NRG, good form on defense, and Justin creating a little bit of pressure on G2's box. Chicago kicks this one out. Squishy's next up. Right off the backboard, and Justin gets over top of it on the crossbar. Drees gets up quickly. Garrett closes the gap back over to Justin. Short passes. JNAPS plays it safely back out to midfield.
The short passes are going to be lethal once they connect on their mark, as Chicago just bombing that ball back downfield. And NRG slow to get these shots on net, but the opportunities are presenting themselves, and we saw Justin narrowly miss that one just recently, as Garrett G just keeping the pressure on for NRG as we near halftime. We're starting to feel that pressure from that first goal from G2.
Chicago, the lone goal scorer. Drees, it's a touch past one NRG defender, but NRG have cleaned things up. Really, it wasn't messy at all for them on defense. Chicago just made a tough shot. Too difficult to save, and NRG are still looking for their first goal. Drees back over to JNAPS. G2 get back to the blue half.
And when you look at this series, when it goes to best of 7, you have to favor NRG, just given their history in the scene and how many big games they've been in. And you know that they have that ace up their sleeve in Justin, that he can end the game at any time. And when it's game 7, everything on the line, you know that he's somewhere waiting to put that shot on target.
He in particular has been having a great start to the season. He was clutch yesterday in their matches. JNAPS trying to pull this one out. Garrett next up on the 50. Chicago ended up having to stay on the ground. JNAPS back to him. Chicago from the corner. Does he get a second here? Forces the 50 against Justin, but G2 have already pulled off the play and are willing to hang on to this ball in this 1-goal lead.
What I'm most impressed about, Jorby, so far in game number 1 is G2's ability to pass to one another regardless of where they are on the field. And another shot from JNAPS turned away, but they're just doing such a good job on defense with the back passes to keep that ball away from NRG and not giving them the chances. But Squishy, a little too quick on this one, ties it up.
They needed something quick because G2 were really locking them down on defense, and Squishy gets the benefit of a whiff on the corner and capitalizes with a tying goal for NRG.
Not a man you want to give confidence to. Squishy with his first goal here of the day. NRG, get it back. It was looking tricky as, you know, I was talking about G2 doing such a good job of keeping that ball away, and JNap's a little too high on that. And all three commit from G2, but thankfully went into that corner for him and slowed things down.
JNap still on the push. Drees on his wing. Hard kick off the side wall. Chicago coming in quick, and it's taken away. Squishy. Hard clear for NRG. Game one has been, it started slow, and it's starting to pick up pace. JNap's on the carry. Goes underneath. Oh, JNap's flips it up again. No shot comes. It's taken away. Justin and Garrett double committed. Drees gets on top of it. JNap's going to take the pass. JNap's on the pop. Underneath Garrett. JNap's over again and forces the 50 against Justin. Here comes Drees taken away. NRG getting a little hoppy on defense near the end of regulation. Squishy. No good for him. JNap's is going to play it back towards the box. JNap's shot on and taken away. Justin picks up another save. Not done. Chicago quick shot taken away by Garrett G.
Oh my goodness. NRG jumpy, and rightfully so, because G2's coming out with the mind games, making them guess. And this ball going to favor NRG, but Chicago with the steal off the side wall over to JNap's, but a little too high on the shot. And Drees can't clean that ball up. And OT we go in game number one.
Woo, it's a tense one. Got to clean on the kickoff. Garrett, couldn't get the touch, but Squishy comes in. Justin with Chicago in front of the box. It's in. Squishy puts in the goal. NRG get the game one victory.
And a double commit here right in the box. Drees in Chicago. Drees just falls off the backboard. Unfortunate, but good cleanup there from Squishy, and NRG giving G2 no time in overtime to work.
That was a very methodical game from both squads. You were talking about G2's passing and how they were constantly trying to fish or rather shovel the ball to each other. But NRG on defense had just closed them down. After that shot from Chicago, they really couldn't get a lot of pressure going. They got a couple of shots that went off the crossbar. NRG did too. There were a lot of close calls in the game one.
I mean, it's rare to see NRG have their shots doubled by the opponents, and G2 did exactly that. 14 shots to 7. It was just all G2 on offense, but they just couldn't break through that wall. And we saw it. They were jumping at every little fake that G2 threw out, but just narrowly off their mark.
I mean, you called it for Justin. He got that set up near the end. And Squishy put in both goals for NRG. So a good start for NRG, but a close start for sure. G2 had command of that for a little bit. You felt like NRG had to play, and you were just saying, so they had to play to G2's game. So we'll see how G2 can readjust, because when you play that well and you don't come away with the victory, that's pretty tough to deal with.
I mean, do you readjust? Because they were dominant on the offensive half. It seemed like just barely missing. I mean, you had a shot there from JNap's who dented the hood of Justin, and if he goes left or right, that ball's in. I think they stay exactly how they're doing, and Drees was holding the back line pretty well.
And we head to Forbidden Temple for game number 2. G2 going to try to tie the series up, and we'll be underway here shortly. JNap's couple of close calls. He had a couple of shots that ranged off the crossbar. We are underway. JNap's going to start out here from the corner. Squishy squeezes that ball out from underneath him.
Smart turn away there from Garrett G, realizing last man back, seeing Drees had the play on that ball, and goes up, fakes out Chicago, and Drees forced to keep that ball to the side. And Justin swoops in, but no shot from NRG, but smart plays all around from everyone on the field.
NRG still commanding midfield. Having to give way for JNap's. Garrett scoops the ball away from him. Justin, hard shot, and almost got it. Drees comes in on the rotation. Justin, another one off the back wall. And G2, not likely to let those balls come away on the rebound. There was that miss that they had in the corner earlier. What a pass to Drees, and it's taken away by Garrett.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Sends it right down center lane, and if he goes left post, it's wide open. But so hard to see that when that pass is coming quickly and you're just trying to put a shot on target. But the opportunities are presenting themselves for G2, and I'm loving the infield passing, but NRG just so stout on that goal line.
Garrett got the flick before he got deleted. Drees deletes another one. Drees on target. Justin has the save. JNap's tried to find the read, but it just got away from him. Squishy couldn't get the 50 against Chicago, but Justin right there to put it back to midfield.
Oh, and another
it's
demo
open.
on the back line. And Justin gets there for the save. 2 incredible saves within 15 seconds of one another. He cannot be stopped right now.
Justin is on right now, getting back to his ball and just got that touch away. Well, I think he made that one himself, but he'll pick it back up. G2, though, still have the ball. Chicago off the ceiling. Squishy had the 50. Garrett next up. Not the best touch for him. Justin has to support, and he does so. But JNAPS closing it down. Pass up high to Chicago. Chicago shot denied before it could go anywhere. And JNAPS also denied. G2, despite spending a lot of time in the blue half, are finding difficulty squeaking holes through NRG. Here's another one, but denied somehow. NRG stalwart on the goal line. Chicago trying again off the ceiling. And the rest of G2 are back. NRG gonna get the clear downfield. Maybe Squishy, a quick transition. Garrett's gonna sit back on this one. He knows it's coming back.
I mean, if you're G2, you got to think eventually one of these is just going to squeak through. Eventually, they're going to find a crack, but no, NRG perfect on the goal line, and that's a dangerous ball towards the top of the box, but Garrett G going to roll downfield and get that one stolen by Drees. And so far, game number 2 seems like it has been all G2. That's a dangerous ball top of the box, and Chicago somehow keeps it away.
Despite all the physical play from G2, hang on, Chicago's downfield. The pass in front to JNAPS up high. Drees is in the air. Shot on, no, it's off. And, Squishy gets the clear for NRG. G2, try as they may, can't find a goal to save their lives.
Just inches away from so many goals, and the passing plays are beautiful like that, and Chicago can't tuck it in. Again, demos, goal open, shots are there, just can't find the accuracy.
How? A couple off the crossbar. Chicago puts that one center, but Squishy's there for the save. Drees misses it. JNAP's now all alone against Squishy, but Chicago gets back quick and cuts it off. Despite the woes on offense in front of the box from G2, they have not relinquished control of the ball. Drees, another 50 in front. Squishy only gave it back to Chicago. Justin has to wait on the back wall. He's been there all game. JNAP, pass in front to Drees. Shot on! Laser target! 1-0 G2!
G2's stubbornness pays off. They just refuse to go back on defense, keep this ball alive in the blue half. And the infield pass pays off dividends as Drees slots one in for G2.
It had to fall for them eventually. How many times could they hit the crossbar, honestly? 8 shots on target.
Oh?
Well, not 8 shots on target, but 8 total shots. Chicago, he misses the ball. Squishy, he's got a chance over to Garrett, but it's a little too hard. Garrett just tries to force the box, or tries to force it to the box. JNAP's gonna bring it back down. Final minute of gameplay upon us. JNAP's, a couple of nice 50s with no boost. Drees up next.
Another?
Justin gets there quickly and takes it away.
45 seconds left, and doesn't take NRG long to get a goal. All they need is just a few moments of space, and they can create so much. But Drees, a little sloppy pass there, stolen away by Justin. Garrett G up to Justin, and Justin finishes it. My goodness, they can do no wrong.
Justin's in the perfect spot for this. First gets the 50, steals the boost, steals the goal. Beautifully done. What a pass from Garrett and Justin. Subi, you said it at the beginning. He has been clicking this weekend, and Justin comes up big again.
No way.
He comes up big here, but it bounces off the post. Drees gets a hard clear down to the blue half.
Oh, Lady Luck on the side of G2 there. That kickoff goal was money, but Squishy a little too far left as we boil down to the final 10 seconds of gameplay. It's on G2's half, and not the best clear, but over to Drees. And let's see if he can work some magic.
Drees back to the corner. Chicago pass to JNAPS, and it's denied. Justin gets there quickly. Squishy got the catch, but it'll drop. We got overtime, Subi.
Yet again, and I wouldn't want it any other way between these two teams. The longer they're on the field, the better it is for everyone out there.
Squishy has Garrett downfield, and he just had to prevent a quick attack back to his own backboard. G2 getting set again. They have spent a lot of time in this half on Forbidden Temple. Drees got the midfield boost, got the 50, and couldn't get that one. Justin sneaks it away.
Really feels like momentum is starting to shift over to NRG as Justin gets the interception in midfield. Drees slows that up, all three up. But Squishy hits it right down at JNaps, and G2 going to get a much-needed clear and try and get to work on offense.
G2 back over to NRG's corner, trying to force the issue, trying to get something happening. Garrett taking out the winger, Chicago, on the play. But Drees turns right back in. G2 have been stealing all of this boost. Drees gets another corner, and NRG, a couple of 50s, is going to give them a lead out. But another clear for JNaps. Drees wants JNaps on the wing. JNaps pops it once, underneath against the wall, and it's going to die. Squishy out of boost, though. Chicago quickly swings around. Pass it for the box. Squishy gets in the way. JNaps leaves it for Drees. Pass to Chicago, but it's too wide. It was off target.
Yeah. One too many touches there from G2 as Drees can't fit that one in. And JNaps too high, but Chicago, he missed it. He absolutely flubbed that one as he couldn't get the power behind it, and it just kind of rolled off into the abyss.
Justin pushes it back to the board, but Drees trying to prevent NRG from coming forward. JNaps picks up the next save. NRG are still set on offense. Squishy on the light ball in Chicago. Now with the lead for G2. Chicago underneath, but Garrett takes it away. Drees slips underneath another NRG defender. Chicago catch on the corner. Garrett trying to find his way out, but Chicago can't get the ball to his teammate. Drees is up. Well, the shot denied by Justin. Who else? He gets the pass to Squishy. Chicago stole it for him. The thief! G2 have stole the game, and they take game 2.
Run away with game 2 as Justin puts it towards mid to Squishy, and Chicago read it from a mile away, and G2 tied the series up.
Oh, NRG had a couple of really nice transitions down the field. They had space, they had a little bit of time, but G2 just hard clear after hard clear, and then forcing the issue on the boost, forcing NRG to be perfect in the boost game, and they couldn't be. G2, they pulled out all the stops in that game, Subi, to break that second goal. Demos, bumps, boost steals, 50s, they needed everything, and it worked. We got a tie series.
I mean, and look who is on top for G2, none other than the young Drees, and he did it by a mile. So many points, so many saves, so many shots. He's just doing everything that G2 needed in this matchup, and it is so fun watching them connect on those infield passes. You can see it coming, but the opponents can't. It's just like, ooh, this is going to be pretty, and when they do nail it, it's a screamer going towards net.
It really is. And this is big for Drees because yesterday he didn't have the best day. And a lot of people, a lot of G2 fans out there just starting to sweat a little bit. And they're like, oh, I hope that isn't a sign of things to come. But I mean, what a return to form for Drees quickly. You're absolutely right. He is a big factor for G2 in the set so far. And well, at this point, who knows what's going to happen? We got to play the games to find out. Chicago on the kickoff, pop it up to Drees. Squishy picks up the first save.
And you know, right before the season started, I was doing a little interview and talking about this upcoming season, and one of my dark horses was G2. And I know that maybe they're not the biggest dark horse because they've always done so well, but I think they can really shake things up. But Garrett G gonna stop me in my tracks because they get a quick one here in game number 3.
Yep, Drees tried to get to that ball and couldn't make the touch. Garrett was ready to punish him for it. And an easy punish indeed for an NRG lead.
But it's easy to say who you think is going to do well and then who you know is going to do well. And we know NRG. I think I could put a couple packs of Mountain Dew that they'd be making the major.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's questioning that for sure. It's a nice carry from Drees. Got the 50 out to Chicago. Another demo, a double demo for Chicago. JNaps only had Squishy to contend with. Drees was ready for it, but Squishy was in the perfect spot. G2 gonna try again here from midfield. Garrett, he'll have Squishy to help him out. Squishy gets the ball back to the third of G2's half. JNaps back over to Drees, a demo to open it up. Garrett got smoked, and here comes JNaps. He puts it in. G2 tie it up.
Worst case scenario for Garrett G here, sitting on the goal line, smoke screen, and the ball just squeezes its way through, and JNap's easiest shot of the series to tie it up.
Didn't take long for G2 to get back into it, and it came from a flurry of demos. On the kickoff, Drees forces the 50. G2 might have an attack quickly here. See Garrett lurking around, trying to get G2's rotation off rhythm. It's been hard to contend with. Drees pops it up. He really is looking good today. Chicago.
He's looking on forward.
Ooh, how about Chicago?
He's been looking great. He got the first goal of the day for G2, and he gets this one. And what a read off that side wall, and then the redirect to be able to put it upper 90. Mwah, brilliant.
That's slot gang right there. What a shot from Chicago. Just like that, it flips. G2 on top. JNap's gets the catch underneath. Justin got the ball out, but Chicago's right there. Drees gonna play it safe. And he's rewarded with the ball after the pass. Drees, shot on target. He got it off the crossbar. He knew he had to beat the defender. It just couldn't squeeze it through. JNap's also pushed off the ball by Justin. Justin harassed by JNap's on the turnaround. And this might be Squishy carrying the ball. Thought maybe he'd find a pass out. But tried to keep it safe. Back to NRG's corner.
And I'll tell you what. Squishy sitting back on the goal line, getting this touch on ball in that brand new NRG decal, looking so good. And mind you, Jorby, you can do the same. You probably won't look as good doing it, but you can go to the esports shop and pick that one up for yourself.
Absolutely. You'll look clean at the very least, and if you look good, you'll play good. Chicago shot on, and it's taken away. Garrett G pulls that ball out, back over to the back wall. Justin coming back down, and Drees will get the clear. G2 held on to a 1-goal lead for a long time. They're capable of doing it. They certainly won a second one, though. Here's Drees, and the shot too late. Chicago gets up quickly. Almost got bumped by Drees on the play. JNap still pushing it forward. NRG just a little bit slower. Here they get a push, but it's a hard clear again. Yes, Subi.
I know we don't have much data for the... What a shot. We don't have much data on the new season so far compared to RLCS X, but one thing I'll say is G2 is looking very good with their calculated aggression. Normally, we're used to seeing G2 push all 3 members forward, and they would just get punished with those long clears over their head, but not right now. It's not happening, but Garrett G finding far post, and what a pass from Squishy.
Look at G2 on defense here. Like both defenders try to cover the right options. JNap's covering low, Chicago's covering high, and Garrett's like, okay, but the right side's open. Easy shot. 2-2. What placement from Garrett G.
And mind you, that's only their 3rd shot in this game, Jorby. Absolute insanity. 11 from G2. They've just been hammering the net, but NRG just so precise with everything they do. They just have a scalpel in their hands, and they use it at a moment's notice.
Squishy pushes it back over to the corner. But I think you're definitely right, Stoby. G2, they used to be overly aggressive, but you're seeing a lot more calculation, and they're able to bring the ball down, create opportunities with 50-50s. Garrett, he almost found the gap again. They just got to be careful because there are gaps that NRG are able to shoot on. That 4th one for Garrett doesn't go through, but he sees them. You've got to keep that net clean and tidy. Garrett gonna push that ball back forward. Justin.
Oh, nice.
It's a nice 50. Garrett out of boost, but he gets the demo. JNap's gets in the way and breaks up NRG's attack. Squishy's got space, has the flick. JNap stretches in with no boost left. He's able to get there.
Oh, saved his flip for the very last second before it ran out, and definitely needed it there. Not the best 50, but Drees misses the mark there as 30 seconds remained, and yet again, we're all tied up, Jorby.
Up high, Chicago just ripped it off the backboard. It's grabbed by Justin.
What?
Said, return to sender. Try again. Here's Justin. Another hard ball, but Drees clears it. I don't think either team's backboard.
Oh, mama.
Oh, wait, that one comes off and it's taken away by Squishy. That's the farthest the ball's come away on a rebound. Drees underneath, but Garrett gets in the way. A 3rd straight overtime? Could it be? Justin 50 by Chicago.
Garrett has no boost.
Drees puts it up high, makes it awkward, Squishy's in the air, and yes, we do have our 3rd overtime.
Oh, Garrett G stuck in a rock between a hard place there is 0 boost and didn't want to leave home to go grab it in the corner, and it Ended up being the right call as Garrett G got a touch of that one, and Justin gonna pass it up. Garrett G's there, but Drees disrupts the play, and Chicago gonna slow things down here and try and get G2 rolling again in the blue half.
JNAB sitting with no boost in midfield, just hoping he can get a solid touch for his team. That's productive. G2 push forward, but those clears are quick coming for NRG. He missed again! The corners are just destroying G2. That's their third whiff onto the corner. This time it's Chicago. He couldn't grab it. And NRG in a capital punishment.
And every single time it seems to be Squishy there, waiting patiently just to make the tightest angle shot on target. And NRG sneak away with a win on this one, because from start to finish, it just felt like this one was all G2.
15 shots on net for G2, and they could only come away with 2 goals. You said it earlier. They were 2 for 3 earlier, now 3 for 5 on the shot efficiency for NRG. So while they're not spending a lot of time in the orange half, they're certainly making their time there productive. And NRG get the lead in the set so far. And I'm still sitting here. I'm like, G2 are probably just going to win the next game, and we're just going to do this back and forth overtime the whole way to game 7.
I'm cool with that. That works for me. I mean, it has been a long off season, so I have needed Rocket League in my life, and this is so great to see these teams going back and forth. And, you know, we were expecting a good matchup, and it has absolutely delivered. But I'm just really surprised at the turnaround G2 has had in the offseason. I thought they were going to be good, but it looks like they're going to be great and be giving NRG a run for their money as best in North America.
They just need to hit the ball in the corner. They can't whiff in the corner. G2 would G2 would be up in the set 3-0 right now if they just hit the ball in the corner. NRG tied game 1 that way, eventually won. And then it happened again in game 2, and then it happened again in game 3. I'm like, they won game 2, so they got away with that one. But imagine if it didn't happen in games 1 and 3.
It's almost like consistency is key in Rocket League.
Almost. Justin kicks it out as it gets deleted. G2, with the way they're looking right now, it's certainly early. It's the first regional. It's their first playoff match of the season, but this is exactly what you wanted them to look like if you're a G2 fan. Garrett going to get the touch out. And Chicago popping this up for G2. They have been favoring these high touches where NRG are just forced to use all of their boost to contest it if they want to. But most times it's G2 ready because they have such command of the boost. Well, and Chicago up high.
And what you forgot with that statement is using as much boost as they have, because by Garrett G, absolutely filthy to get the defender off the goal line.
Brutality from Garrett. Boxes Drees out. No, sir, no save. And he gets the goal on top of it. You love to see it from Garrett. He does what he wants.
Oh, so smart. That's what has allowed him to be at the top of the scene for so long, is his mindset, his mentality, and just his IQ for Rocket League.
G2 trying to be in the blue half for another long period of time, but NRG trying to keep him out. Drees runs that ball over to the corner. A scrum breaks out here. Drees comes out alive, and Chicago's shot denied. Garrett gets it out to Squishy. A close call.
And Squishy, no boost, just powering his way through. Great job of winning back-to-back 50s. And just pushing NRG into the offensive half. The back pass over to JNaps, but Squishy ate that one up, and he's demoed for his efforts on the play.
Drees again from the corner. What a 50 against Justin. Oh, and it comes down for Chicago. Squishy gets in the way, but JNaps closing the gap quick. Justin holding on to that ball into the corner. Garrett gets the hard clear, but Chicago's back ready to receive. Forces the 50 against Garrett. Now Squishy's next up. He's going to pull off. Maybe Justin gets the save. He gets a perfect touch up to the ceiling.
Great ball control from Justin on the goal line. I mean, it's just a thing of beauty, and we should be used to it at this point, but it just never ceases to amaze me, the control that he has over the ball. Just anywhere he is on the field, regardless of how much boost he has in the tank. You rarely see an errant hit, as Chicago Can't get any power behind that, but he gets 2 NRG defenders to go up, and Justin clears that one away to try and get Garrett G and Squishy back on the defense.
Chicago swinging in for first man, but the 50s all Justin. Justin trying to make it awkward for G2, but nobody from NRG was coming. Squishy will pump it back to the corner. G2 gonna try again, but now NRG are cutting off the midfield approach. Drees misses the ball, and that one doesn't go anywhere for NRG, but those key misses have cost them before. Here comes G2 though, and it's taken away. JNaps lets in for Drees. Drees, a little bit of space, but only 9 boost. Not much to do. JNaps trying to close the gap. He does. He's got Chicago downfield, and he's got the shot. Squishy picks up the save. Garrett. Not Garrett. Justin's gonna pick this one up. Garrett just trying to shade the approach, and he gets the clear.
That was a tough one. Great pass over to Chicago, but couldn't get the power behind it. Maybe it's Chicago not in the dominance. Maybe that's what he's missing. Getting that extra oomph behind the ball.
I mean, he hit a nasty shot earlier. I think Chicago's looking pretty good.
You're right.
I don't know.
Just on that play. He just needed to switch it up just for that shot.
If only you could switch mid-games. Hot switch, dominance. That would be crazy.
Drees for a pit stop.
Gonna push this over to the corner. Chicago next up, pass to JNaps. Garrett G's right there. They're starting to be privy to G2's passes in front of the box. Garrett has usually been the one to break them up. Squishy as well, up high. JNaps, no touch for his teammate. Justin's downfield, puts it in! Justin waited, carried it in for NRG.
Oh, what a passing play. Takes 2 seconds from them to go to defense, down to offense, putting a shot on target. That is a thing of beauty.
Excellent job from Justin and Squishy. Gives NRG a little bit of comfort. Drees off the backboard. No chance for him. JNaps pops this one up high. Double tap. JNaps does it. Knapsack puts G2 on the board.
Knapsack with the nasty placement here as well. Goes up. And if you're Garrett G, you're thinking he's trying to go right upper 90, but he goes far left post right behind him and puts that one in and immediately get that goal back that they just gave up.
JNaps has this shot on, denied by Justin. Drees pops this one up high again. Squishy, he misses the ball, but Garrett's right there to clean up for him. Chicago wants some kind of angle out for G2. They're not going to find it. Justin off the ceiling. It's the first touch out, and Drees pops the ball back over to Chicago. Chicago back downfield. Garrett couldn't grab it, but he actually got the ball on the spike down. Pass in front. JNaps shot off. Justin gets the grab. G2 so close, but yet so far. Drees, a time winding down. Underneath on the flip reset, he missed the ball. Justin coming down, awkward ball. JNaps on top of him. Squishy just needs the clear. NRG just need to protect the rock. Chicago keeps it slow. Chicago, the flick! Oh, it's off the post, and he's there! 0 seconds, Drees ties it up! G2!
Drees keeping the dream alive. Chicago denied by the post, but somehow the ball floats in midair as zeros go across the clock, and G2 send us to yet another overtime.
Holy moly. Justin. Oh, I was just assuming a double tap's gonna come. Squishy tried to force the low 50. Garrett barrels in, but he's stuffed by G2's defense. Squishy trying to force the ball forward. Drees has JNaps on the wing. Topped up high, off the ceiling. Justin very precariously gets that ball over to Garrett G. G2 still on the press. Chicago up high against the ceiling. Has the 50 in front of the box, and Justin gets the clear downfield. Squishy up quick, but Drees cuts him off. And G2 back on offense again. JNaps caught them all out. G2 on top again.
Oh my goodness. I think, what did NRG do here? Garrett G thought that Drees was going for the double tap, and in comes JNaps to rifle that one on target, and G2 steal away game number 4.
Garrett still might have made that save if that shot was a little weaker. That was 110 kilometers per hour, and he just missed it. It is inches. This match is inches. 1-goal games, 4 straight overtimes. Are you kidding me?
How? How have we had 4 straight overtimes between 2 of the best teams in North America? You'd think, okay, surely there's going to be one game where one of these teams just pops off. But no, it's so close throughout the entire 5 minutes. This has been a series, Jorby. This has been a series.
And the offensive output just doesn't stop for G2. 17 shots on net. JNAPS and Chicago have a pair of 7s. NRG only had 4 shots. They are so efficient when they're on offense. They just don't stay on offense.
It's insane. They're playing so spaced out, and that's what was so surprising about that overtime goal was usually NRG has everything covered up, and I saw Garrett G sitting in the box. Okay, he's going to get that save, but like you said, Jorby, JNAPS, that shot was so hard, and if it was just a few miles per hour slower, there would have been a save on that, but the power he got behind that just caught the defense sleeping.
All right, we're going to Wasteland Night. It's time for Game 5. Who's going to take series advantage? Justin. He's been trying to create space. He's been trying to make those flashy plays, but G2, for the most part, rock solid, and still, it does not stop. JNAPS forces the 50 to Chicago, who puts it in.
Yeah, just look at his placement right here. He's just waiting, just sitting in the box waiting, just in case that ball pinches out to the left, just like it did. Great placement by Chicago, just being in the right place at the right time.
Garrett, first up on this touch. G2 are going to take it away again. And a lot of small touches, not just willingly giving it away to NRG, hoping for a poor touch or hoping for a touch back to yourself, but every touch trying to get something productive done to move the ball forward. G2 have been successful. Here's a demo to open up space, but Garrett's kept Chicago honest on the midfield line.
That was a great touch by Garrett. I don't know how he got that much power behind that ball, and placement as well to give NRG time to not only get boost, but just position themselves on the field, and tons of space given to JNAPS. Chicago drops it down, but Garrett G pinches it back out, and another shot from G2. Already 3 in the first minute, and the onslaught continues.
JNAPS pops this up for Dries. It's a perfect touch from JNAPS to Dries. NRG are just left on the back wall, and they're a little haphazard here. A couple of missed touches. JNAPS, well, I think Garrett got the boost from him. I don't know, JNAPS got it. Dries. The pop-up off the ramp. Chicago on the 50. Still, G2 are going to press. They love just 50ing that ball into the corner as often as possible. Checking out a demo. Dries on the musty, and it was too weak. JNAPS, no boost, just going to punch it away.
Almost had him, but I think Squishy saw that one coming and didn't want to give him any space to complete any moves that he has up his sleeves, as Justin just missed that double tap there as he was coming back down to the ground. And NRG, plenty of time to work with, and definitely a team that does not panic regardless of how much time is left on the clock. If they're 1 goal behind, they know that it doesn't matter. Even if there's 0 seconds left, they still can get things moving.
You saw after version 1 exit, I don't know if anyone expected that match to be the banger that it was, but then NRG G2 starting to one-up it here. Garrett, on the catch, and it's taken away. JNAPS quickly breaking that one up.
Yeah, again, it's just not giving the opponent any time to work with. It's so frustrating sometimes when you see a defender just sitting there waiting, giving so much time and opportunity to the player that has ball control, but not these guys. They are just taking every opportunity that's given to them.
Justin couldn't get a 50 favorable for his team. Garrett, his boost gets stolen away. He'll take out the player in revenge. Dries got the catch on the air dribble. Underneath Justin, well, the 50 will go back out to JNAPS. JNAPS kicks it high to commit from NRG, but Garrett stays on the backboard and gets down. Justin, nice catch. And he gets the 50 as well. NRG are going to push forward. That's tough for NRG to stay on the orange half. They get that ball downfield. The transition looks good. The flip reset looks good. And Justin puts NRG on his back for an NRG goal.
Oh, watch Dries here. He says, okay, I'm going to cheat up when this ball drops. Oh, you did me. You did me dirty like that. Oh, Justin. The ball control. We were telling you, Dries. Doesn't matter where he is. He can control it like no other. And looking like a Harlem Globetrotter there, just spinning that ball around. puts NRG right back in game number 5.
He usually hasn't had space like that. Oh, JNap's got the 50 denied by Squishy. Drees next up, punches it high. A demo on the backside. Here comes the shot. It's too high from Chicago. Next up has got to be JNap's, and he has to wait for Justin's touch. Chicago shades him off the ball. Wow, G2 have just been so good at stealing the ball away from NRG. When you think they're going to start grabbing possession, G2 find a way out, either with a slight bump, a boost steal, whatever. We've been talking about it all game, but G2 just keep being successful at it. And NRG, a lot of awkward plays they have to handle off their own back wall. Takes a bump here from Justin to give Garrett space. Garrett underneath off the ramp. JNap's got the catch. Justin tries to force it forward. And a battle right now for possession in G2's third. JNap's has a little bit of space, but Garrett closes the gap. Garrett almost got the dunk. Justin has to pull off a little bit. That gives JNap's time to get the 50.
And again, less than a minute to go, all tied up. G2 with the ball in NRG's half, in Chicago just taking a shooter's chance at it, just firing on target, but they're Squishy. And none other than JNap's covering up the back line for G2, and back and forth we go here. Less than 30 seconds to go. I mean, it can't be any closer, Jorby.
Well, they trade a couple of boomers. Are we really looking at a 5th straight overtime? There's no way. JNap's, he's out of boost. Chicago needs a good touch, and he's got it. That corner has been deadly for G2 against them. That one pops up against the wall, and JNap's puts it down. Garrett wants to play ball off the ceiling. Justin, he's got enough boost. Nope, he doesn't have enough boost. Drees trying to kill this ball. NRG keeping it in the air. 5 straight overtimes. Good
Jorby,
teams play well. Good teams play well, Subi, and when that happens, overtimes happen. This is just the rule of law in Rocket League. JNap's has a chance over here to Chicago, but no pass.
This is just unbelievable. I'm seriously just in awe right now of how this is happening. I mean, I get a few, but the entire series so far going to OTs, I mean, insane. We should have just had them do a shootout.
Just play one long, like 30-minute game. Here,
There
pass
we
in
go.
front, and it's a little wide, but JNap's is going to get the boost on top of it. Off the ceiling for
Nasty.
Chicago. Justin has to come far off, but he got the touch. Drees kicks it away from Squishy, and Garrett's ready for it and gets the ball downfield. NRG, again, in the offensive department, lacking only 4 shots. They haven't needed a lot to be able to score against G2 as they continue to press. And the shot count for G2 is as high as you think it is. 12 shots on target. Drees up high, has to pick up the save. Tough off the crossbar, but he's got it with no boost.
Oh,
JNap's has to get to this ball quickly, and Justin just a little slower. Chicago punches the ball back to NRG territory.
I mean, thankfully for G2 there, Justin was coming from about the top of his own box there, so it gave a little room to JNap's to work with to beat him to that ball, as things starting to slow down a little bit here in overtime, as looks like might get close to our longest OT of the series if it continues like this. But Justin puts a hard shot, turned away by Chicago, and Squishy back down to Justin, but read well by Chicago. And back and forth, NRG going, but another shot put on target, and Garrett G almost had that dunk.
Justin's in the air. The shot just off the post. Squishy turns back around. Another shot taken away by Chicago. Garrett, pass over to Justin. Justin in front of Garrett. Garrett's in. NRG on top. 3-2 in the set.
Oh, and it's off of a 1-2-1 passing play. Justin back to Garrett. What a read, and he gets over Chicago. The defenders just looking silly, stuck on their wheels. And NRG, series point.
Like the ticking of a clock, so too do NRG and G2 trade wins here in this match. It absolutely, what a ridiculous match so far. It's been 2 consistent things. NRG, efficiency on offense. They had a little more. They had more shots this time. They amassed 10 more. Or not 10 more. That's wrong.
Well,
they
like
amassed
5
10
of them
total.
came in the last 30 seconds.
Oh, and you see what happens? They put that much offense on. They score goals. They just need more of that.
Yeah, just do more of that thing. Just shoot the ball better. But, you know, for G2, and I would be surprised if they don't take a timeout here, but for G2, you touched on it briefly of their success, and I think it boils down to just boost control. Every time I look up at those boost meters, it seems that G2 always has more than NRG. And that's why they're able to just maintain such great card control, ball control, possession of it. Just everything they're doing boils down to that boost management.
G2, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like we've seen it every time. G2 punch the ball up high, NRG have to respond to it, and you see the player that popped it up high go and steal all their boost. And it's been rinse repeat for G2. Now, the thing is, as good as it's been, yeah.
G2 didn't take a timeout.
I mean, I respect it. It's not like they weren't getting smacked. You know, it's really close. I think I understand the want to keep the energy up and just get into the next game with how both teams have been playing.
That's fair.
Maybe you don't want to ice yourself. You know, I respect the choice.
That's fair. I like that.
Justin, not going to get a touch out for his team. Garrett's no nonsense right now. He is rolling around as much as he can, but here's a double demo and almost a goal. Actually, it is a goal. What? Chicago gets the bounce and he gets the goal.
How does this happen? Demos everywhere, and you think, all right, that's out, but just such a favorable bounce, and somehow Dree's able to avoid the self-save there, and G2 go up by 1. That's exactly the start they needed here as their backs are against the wall.
Nice win from JNAPS on the kickoff. He's going to collect the boost for his efforts. That just comes straight down, and Garrett's ready for it. Garrett at the flick. Drees ticks up the save. Squishy wants that corner boost. They'd like some more pressure against G2. I don't know if they're going to get it, though. JNAPS puts it back up towards NRG's box. Justin getting between two defenders. But NRG, they have to respect that clear game from G2.
Squishy.
Oh, Squishy! He got the bump, but not before Chicago could get the ball. A very close call for NRG. Here's another one. Garrett up top, but denied by Chicago. Squishy in midfield. He's got the catch. He's got the ball. Squishy denied by Drees. Shot on from Justin. It's too high. Garrett has to sit back, and he's given the ball again. Squishy on the catch on the midfield line. Squishy
Justin's
over
up.
to Justin. He's there! Mid-air passing play from NRG, tying the game.
Just unselfish play all around from NRG. And if you blink, you miss it, because Justin was in the air an hour ago to shoot that shot on target, and NRG tie us all up.
Speedy on that play. JNAPS. Quick off the kickoff.
Gosh.
We get right back into it. They just want to score as quick as possible. Squishy.
You say speedy, I say clairvoyant. How did he know that that pass was going to be on the money from Squishy like that?
Better players score. Oh, Squishy got this one, and, well, it's taken away. Drees has to wait on the back wall. Justin. Again, ball knocked away by Drees. This ball sent back over to Chicago. G2 handling business on defense. Drees on the catch. Drees try to get that 50 against Justin. Chicago's given a little bit of space to work with. Squishy punches that ball back over to the corner. G2 trying to carry this ball into the NRG half. Hasn't been as successful in these last few tries, but they keep going back to it. Justin has a catch here in the corner. And now it's G2 who are looking for a clear. Squishy underneath. Squishy, another 50. Do they have anything here? Chicago, and no boost. He's got to get that ball out to Drees, and he does. Oh, it comes for free.
Shot.
Justin can't find it. Oh, and they finally get to the ball, but Chicago's given a little bit of time to think about it. With the midfield boost in tow, Chicago off the ceiling, knocked away by Garrett. Drees got another touch out, but Squishy can take that save. Still, they press. JNAPS, one touch, and it's taken away by Justin.
Jorby, you know those games when you're playing, it's just like, no matter what you do, it just seems like you can't find your rhythm, can't find your place, and it's like, I'm not even touching the ball. Like, we're playing 2v3. NRG's doing that right now with Garrett G, and somehow still all tied up. He only has 48 points right now, and they're still playing this way. Yeah.
I didn't look.
You can't get in the rhythm right now. It's just Squishy and Justin, so much control over the field, and it's not because they're being ball hogs or anything like that. It's just one of those things where Garrett G just not getting involved, but somehow it's working.
I mean, he's been able to get in on a couple of these 50s, so at least some of those 2-point tries are productive touches, but still.
Just odd.
It is odd. Justin forces the 50 over. G2 still on defense. Justin flips this one over. Garrett tried to get another shot, but it's taken away. 40 seconds left in game 6, and we're tied up. NRG have been on offense for a little while here, but G2 are starting to get these clears now, and NRG are forced back to their own wall. Justin on the carry, gets it over to well, no, he won't get it to Garrett, but Justin will get the ball back. Overshot Garrett just a little bit.
Oh, Chicago barely got that touch. Oh, and Justin. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Garrett G with the clutch save there on the goal line. Getting involved here late as less than 10 seconds to go, Jorby.
Pop up. Justin plays it back over to the corner. Drees pops this one up. JNAP's backflip, gets down, and 6 straight overtimes. Just put a counter on screen at this point, because it's just going to happen every time.
Still just flabbergasted, but hey, whatever works, I'm here for it. And Justin gets it over JNAPs, but Chicago, last line of defense. Garrett G keeping things alive. Dangerous ball, top of the box. Justin gonna finish it off, and NRG march on.
NRG come up big time. No game 7. Garrett the 50 monster. He might have spent the entire regulation period under 100 points, but he has a pretty 213 sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard now after that 50. NRG, what a thrilling series between them and G2. Wow, that had a little bit of everything, and we say that a lot in these big games, but it really did.
It really did, and I still can't get away from the fact that A, we had 6 overtimes in a row, and B, Justin pre-jumped from a different map and made it to make that passing play from Squishy just a thing of beauty. And one takeaway that everybody in North America needs to pay attention to is the unselfishness from NRG.
Unselfishness on both sides. That was class, absolute class from North America's best teams. Some people had questions about G2 coming into the day after their performance yesterday. Even though they lost against NRG, I don't know if many people are asking the same questions. Maybe when it comes to against NRG, but I think people will look a lot more favorably on G2 in all of their future matchups from here on.
I mean, they better. I think they've proven that they are an offensive powerhouse, and it's no longer just pure aggression. It is very smart, controlled aggression that we were talking about, and it was such a fun series to watch. Man, I've missed this. I have missed Rocket League so much.
I know, man. It has been awesome. That was a pleasure to watch, and we got plenty more. I have a feeling the next one is going to be just as crazy. FaZe versus Team Envy coming up next. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.